How did installing security cameras in your home destroy your family? I installed the cameras because I thought someone was stealing from us. Small things kept disappearing. Cash from my wallet, Claire's prescription medication, gift cards we'd received for holidays. My wife blamed herself for misplacing things, but I knew better. Someone in our house was taking what didn't belong to them, and I needed proof before making accusations that could destroy our family. The security company installed 8 cameras throughout our home, covering every room except bathrooms and bedrooms. They connected to an app on my phone with 30 days of rolling footage. I told Claire and our kids, 16-year-old Ethan and 13-year-old Mia, that the cameras were for protection after hearing about break-ins in our neighborhood. Everyone seemed fine with it, even relieved. What I found in those first 3 days of footage didn't just answer my questions about the missing items. It revealed secrets that would tear apart everything I thought I knew about the people I lived with. The cameras showed me the truth, and the truth destroyed us more completely than any theft ever could. The first discovery came on day 2. I was reviewing footage from the previous afternoon when I saw Claire come home early from her job at the medical office, where she worked as a billing coordinator. She went straight to our bedroom, which didn't have a camera, but the hallway camera caught her emerging 20 minutes later looking flushed and adjusting her clothes. A man I'd never seen before followed her out 30 seconds later. He was younger than her, maybe 30 to her 42, wearing a polo shirt with a company logo I couldn't make out. They stood in the hallway talking quietly, and then he kissed her. Not a friendly peck, but a deep kiss with his hand on her waist. Claire kissed him back before walking him downstairs to the front door. The timestamp showed this happened at 2 in the afternoon, 3 hours before she was supposed to be home from work. I watched it 5 times, hoping I was misunderstanding what I was seeing, but there was no other interpretation. My wife of 18 years was having an affair and bringing the man into our home while our children were at school. I felt like I'd been punched in the stomach. My hands were shaking as I scrolled back through the previous day's footage. There he was again, arriving at 1:30, leaving at 3. I checked the day before that and found the same pattern. Claire had been bringing this man to our house at least 3 times a week for who knows how long. Every afternoon she told me she was working late or running errands after work. She was actually coming home to be with him. The betrayal was so complete, so calculated that I couldn't process it. But I forced myself to keep watching because I'd installed these cameras to find a thief, and I still hadn't found who was taking our things. I scrolled forward to footage from that same evening after I'd come home from work. Ethan was in the kitchen making a sandwich when I saw him open the drawer where we kept emergency cash. He pulled out 2 20s, looked around to make sure no one was watching, and slipped them into his pocket. The camera angle was perfect, showing his face clearly, the guilt obvious in how quickly he moved. My son was the thief. Not some stranger, not a friend who'd visited, but Ethan. I kept watching and saw him do it again the next day, taking 3 20s this time. I watched him go into our bathroom and take Claire's anxiety medication from the cabinet. I watched him rifle through my wallet when I left it on the kitchen counter, taking a gift card I'd gotten from work. Every missing item I'd noticed over the past 2 months, Ethan was responsible for all of it. But why? We gave him an allowance. We bought him what he needed. He had a part-time job at the grocery store on weekends. Where was this money going? I fast-forwarded through hours of footage, looking for answers, and found something that made the affair and the stealing seem almost manageable by comparison. On the living room camera, I watched Mia come home from school and go straight to the kitchen. She opened the refrigerator, stared at the food inside for a long moment, then closed it without taking anything. She did this 3 more times over the next hour. Then she went to the bathroom, and I could hear through the audio what she was doing, even though there was no camera. She was throwing up, deliberately, forcing herself to vomit. I'd noticed Mia had lost weight recently. Claire said it was a growth spurt, that teenage girls get self-conscious about their bodies. I'd accepted that explanation because I didn't want to see what was really happening, but the cameras didn't lie. I watched my 13-year-old daughter engage in behavior that could kill her, and I'd been completely blind to it. I sat in my office at 3 in the morning, 3 days after installing the cameras, staring at my phone screen filled with evidence that my entire family was falling apart. My wife was cheating, my son was stealing, my daughter had an eating disorder, and I'd had no idea about any of it. I was supposed to be the father, the husband, the one who noticed when something was wrong, but I'd been so wrapped up in my own work, my own concerns, that I'd missed every sign. The cameras had given me the truth, but the truth was unbearable. I had to decide what to do with this information, knowing that whatever I chose would change everything. There was no way to unknow what I'd learned, no way to go back to the comfortable ignorance I'd had 3 days ago. I spent the next week gathering more evidence before confronting anyone. Then, Friday evening, 1 week after installing the cameras, I called a family meeting. Full story is linked below or on my channel.